Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So on today's edition, we're going to be talking about another mecha anime. If you're a long-time viewer of the channel, you know how much I love mecha anime. So I found one that I watched a couple years ago, and honestly, this one hits so beautifully. It's beautiful and it's brutal. So today we're going to be diving into one of the most emotionally powerful entries in the Gundam franchise. This one flips the script with brutal realism, child soldiers, I'm not even sure, can I say that on YouTube? And the fight for freedom. I'm talking about Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans. You know, if you think Gundam is just about flashy mechs, space politics, think again. This one has all that and extra. This series hits hard with its themes, characters, and some of the most impactful story arcs in this genre. So let's not waste any time. Let's talk about Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans. So the basic story of Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, it takes place in this post-war future where Mars has been colonized but is still under the thumb of Earth's government. So our story follows a group of child soldiers working for this private military company called CGS. After being betrayed and left to die, they rise up and form their own organization called Tekkadan, which means the Iron Flower. So, you know, we kind of follow it through their eyes, how they are trying to navigate this new world children having to learn how to do business, how to join forces with pirate gangs, people seen as outlaws, to the main government called Horn. You understand? Then we also follow the story from another person's point of view, from Corellia Aina Beinstein. You know, she's this kind of rich daughter, you know, but she's not stuck up. She's cool. You know, she's the daughter of a rich politician in the Mars system, you know, so she is advocating for better autonomy for Mars. You know, she's trying to negotiate deals with the government of Earth to give Mars more access and benefits from the material mined on Mars called half metal. You know, it's this kind of very precious metal is used for a lot of things, the making of the Gundams, the mechs, the everything, just daily life of the solar system. So it's very important. So, but you know, Mars is oppressed and Earth benefits the most from all this. Earth gets all the benefits from mining the thing on Mars. So she is trying to get favorable deals for that. So she is trying to meet a faction because Earth, after the Calamity War hundreds of years ago, has been divided into different factions based kind of like on continental lines. So she is trying to meet the branch of the North American branch, Orba, you know, so she can discuss with him, the leader, in order he's sympathetic to the Martian cause, so that because of all the politics going on Earth, so she can get better favorable deal for Mars in order for them to prosper, you know. But of course, Horn, the the leading military faction of Earth, it's made up of multiple fleets and land forces, made up of the prominent 7 prominent families of Earth that took part in the Calamity War and won the Calamity War with their own Gundams, you understand? So they and also the other factions of Earth are trying to kill her because, of course, they're trying to keep their wealth and their benefits on Mars. So she hires Tekkadan in order, this new group led by children, she hires them because she too is a child anyway, so you can kind of feel the connection, you understand? She's like, I think 18 or something. So, you know, you can kind of see how, you know, she's very, very sympathetic to their cause. I mean, these are people literally called human debris, orphans that are seen as trash, sent to the meat grinder to get killed, left for dead, you understand? So they all connect and become, as the story progresses, you see how they all become this family. So, you know, it's very wholesome to see. So the whole story is Tekkadan trying to get her to Earth while also trying to keep themselves and her alive, while making alliances on the way. You see them make alliances with takers, you know, this kind of not pirate, but like I would call them kind of space yakuza, you understand? You kind of see them, seeing that guy with the multiple wives was always funny to me, like how many he had his own personal harem, you understand? So seeing all the politics come into play, this does no justice to the story. It's so much more complicated than this, and you really need to watch it for yourself if you haven't. But yeah, this is just an oversimplification. So at the center of all this, we have Mikazuki Orgas, a quiet, ruthless pilot, and Orga Itsuka, his charismatic best friend and leader. So together, they lead Tekkadan through a series of battles, political manipulations, and bloody power struggles to secure a better future, not just for themselves, but for all oppressed people on Mars. You understand? What even makes this story more tragic is I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to pronounce this. I'll call it Ayana Vijana system. You know, it's this kind of spinal implant they put in you in order to be able to control the mechs and Gundams, you know, seamlessly so that you're one with the robot. You understand? but it has a very low survival rate to even be put one. Mikazuki is crazy. Like, he got multiple and he's still alive. You understand? So he has a very low survival rate. You'll be seeing children getting crippled from putting it. Many die. Very few survive. So it's crazy to see children being used this way. It's brutal. Now let's talk about the characters. The characters are honestly so engaging and so beautiful. We have Mikazuki Orgas, unlike most Gundam protagonists, he's not loud, he's not idealistic, he's quiet, focused, and terrifyingly efficient in battle, for real. When you see him go crazy, how you see him, the more he uses the system, I'll call it the system, I can't pronounce that name, the more he uses the system, the more it destroys his bodies until he becomes a cripple. It's crazy. But once he enters inside Barbatos, he comes alive, for real. He's completely loyal to Orga. Like, if Orga says jump, he says how high, and will do anything he says, no matter how dark it gets. His connection to the Gundam Barbatos isn't just physical, it's kind of like symbionic, it's his own way, his own goals in life, Then we have Orga Itsuka, he's the heart of Tekkadan. He's not the best strategist, and I like how they did like that, he's like 17 or 18 by later in the story, you understand? He's a kid, so he's not supposed to be a fantastic strategist. He's cocky sometimes, he makes mistakes, but he learns from those mistakes and he gets better. But his drive to protect his brothers and give them a future pushes him to take increasingly dangerous risks. His relationship with Mikazuki is complex. They trust each other completely, but that trust can also be their downfall sometimes, and you see it you see it take place in the story. We have characters like Biscuit, you understand? Biscuit is like Orga's, until he brutally got killed, and that scene was so tragic. He was Orga's, voice of reason. If Orga wanted to take a very, extreme, decision, you understand, he was the one that kind of always, because he is not human debris. Biscuit is a worker actually, so he has other aspects that he brought to the family. You understand? He has his two little sisters who work on the farm too. So he's the voice of reason in Tekkadan for their more crazy plans. But then when he's killed, you can see a turning point, in the story. Then you've got other characters too, like Akihiro, a fellow orphan who becomes one of Tekkadan's strongest warriors. You have Kudelia Aina Einstein, the noble woman turned revolutionary, serves as the moral compass also, and political face of their cause. And of course, you have Megilis Farid, he's the masked wild card with his own mysterious agenda inside the corrupt organization Yalarhorn. He wants to kill all the families and take over everything for himself. So you kind of see him, Tekkadan having to also work with somebody in Yalarhorn to take down Yalarhorn, which is crazy. So each character has depth, purpose, and development. And because of this, ironblooded orphan, you never know who's going to survive in the story, which makes you, keeps you on your feet. So honestly, I think Iron-Blooded Orphans is hands down one of the most emotionally powerful Gundam series I've ever watched. I didn't watch all those very older ones, but like from the ones I was watching from 2000s, mid 2000s, late 2000s, you understand? Iron-Blooded Orphans is one of the best of them. For it doesn't shy away from the horrors of war or the cost of ambition. Every battle feels like it matters. The pain, the losses, the sacrifices, they hit hard. This isn't a power fantasy, it's a tragedy, gritty story about what happens when kids are forced to become soldiers just to survive. The animation, we gotta give a shout out to Sunrise. Solid, it's beautiful. The fight scenes, well choreographed. The mech battles, beautiful. Gundam Barbatos is one of the most feral primal mobile suits in the franchise, for real, and the way it fights reflects Mikazuki's personality. Fast, brutal, and unrelenting. The soundtrack is haunting and powerful, especially when the fight scene starts. The opening themes like Raise Your Flag and Rage of Dust, they fit the tone perfectly, and the series never lets you get too comfortable. Just when you think this team is, they finally catching a break, they find it cool, nah, something hits, and it hits hard, and something happens. You understand? Like when they killed one of those Taizawa's wives, gunshot to the head, when she just went shopping, you will not see those things coming, for real. What really stands out is the theme of family. Tekkadan isn't just a team, it's a brotherhood. They're not fighting for empires or ideologies, they're fighting for each other, for a place to belong, and that's what makes the journey so beautiful and so heartbreaking. Let me know your thoughts on this series, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.